Hi, everyone. Hope you are all doing well. We are connecting in, and I am. Hi, everyone. A few little tech things in the background that I'm not used to doing, so forgive me as I get you all started here. Hope you are all doing well. We are connecting in, and I am. Hi, everyone. A few little tech things in the background. So hopefully I am getting all of this done correctly as we get started here. We'll get started here in just a minute. I am going to share our screen and we will hang on for just a minute.
Hi, how are you?
Good. So we are live on YouTube streaming, and yay, so we've got that going, and I can hit broadcast, so then we can have attendees join us. Yes.
Yes.
And I am learning all of these fun things.
sorry, I'm here last minute. Yes. Here are the participants.
Yes. Wonderful.
My video.
So we have I have a few people that are going to join us as panelists. I'm going to promote them as well. Super grateful for them joining in, and we've got a few of us who yeah, I'm trying to find everyone that that needed to come on live with us. So thank you all for your patience with me as I get all of this newfangled tech figured out. We are actually streaming on YouTube today in order to capture this and be able to share it with everyone. So super excited to see you all today and have you join us. We have one more panelist that's going to be joining. So as she comes in, I will promote her on as well. And we are going live today. So I'm super excited for all this work that we've been doing and so much exciting stuff. Welcome everyone to this call. We have quite a few new people joining us. And so I want to go ahead and just do a quick screen share and be able to share with you all. Hang on one second. We need to make sure I'm sharing the right things with everyone and get my tech figured out today. I know all of you are so used to all of this, right? Trying to get everything situated with all of the kiddos, and you know how this rolls, right? You all know how this back end tech stuff works. So as we kind of jump in, I see that Cindy, you are here with us, and Cindy, I am bringing you on. So thanks for sending me that message that you were here. I'm super excited to have you joining us. All right. So welcome. I am Sandy Herrera, and my company is Educator Dynamics, and this is the Global Impact Educator webinar. This is all about making the impact that you were born to make. Today is really all about you and about what's working, what's not working, and how can you get some momentum? How can you actually grow forward? So a little bit about who I am and why we're all here together. This is a little bit about my story. This is my son, Hunter, and he has just graduated from high school. So I just kind of by the skin of my teeth avoided having him be part of the pandemic and virtual learning. But I am in all of this with all of you across the country and across the world. I am super excited to have you join us. So a little bit about me and kind of my passion and how this all started and how I came to create Educator Dynamics and ultimately this webinar. My background is that when my son was around 5 and we put him in kindergarten, and he had an experience between one kindergarten and another that had everything to do with culture and nothing to do with academics. And it was a really unfortunate experience that kind of started this mommy fire in me. Those of you that have kids and all of you that have been around kids, you know when you get that fire of this is not okay. for children to have to feel like they have to fit in this box or they're a bad person. And so that kind of started the fire inside of me. And then I was asked by a mentor of mine, and he said, if you could do anything in the world and it wasn't about the money, what would you do? And my dream was I would run an adventure camp for kids, and I would have these amazing thought leaders from around the world come in and be able to teach their thing to kids through adventure and outdoor activities. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of crazy. I don't know how that'll happen. This was back in 2005. Fast forward to 2008 to 2010 timeframe, I met Tony Hsieh, the CEO of Zappos, and became good friends with him. And he launched his book, Delivering Happiness, and he turned it into a company. And with that work, I reached out and I said, hey, love what you're doing. Happy to volunteer, whatever you need. Next thing you know, 3 months later, I'm running internal culture and internal operations, and we're teaching companies how to use happiness as a business model. So with that, schools started reaching out and saying, hey, we got a hold of the book too. Can we implement some of the strategies, and can you help us write curriculum? So I started volunteering my time. Remember that mommy fire back inside me, like our schools need to be great places to work and learn. So I started doing that just on a volunteer basis. And in 2013, January of 2013, I left Delivering Happiness with their full blessing and support to say, Sandy, you're passionate about this, go build it. And so I started a program called Got Core Values, and really didn't know what I was doing in the world of education, but I knew what corporate culture was. I knew human behavior. And so I just started working with educators and started getting curious and learning the world of education. So for the last 7, almost 8 years, I have been working with schools exclusively to make our schools a great place to work and learn. And in 2015, I actually had the good fortune to end up in Bali and connect with Roger Hamilton, who is a mentor of mine. And he is the founder of the Genius Group and Entrepreneurs Institute, and has a passion for this entrepreneurial spirit and training entrepreneurs. And so I reached out and said, hey, would love to reconnect. And so ended up becoming a performance consultant and infusing some of his work into mine, and really helping educators understand their path of least resistance to success, and how do we communicate with different brain wired strengths and all of those things. And really found my purpose in that educators are the most amazing group of humans on the planet. And I could not imagine working with more amazing people on a daily basis, and really helping shine a light on the brilliance that you all bring to the table. And so with that, I have a partnership with Genius School Global, which is one of Roger's organizations as well. And it's all about revolutionizing education. So I have this global lens on education while working on the ground with schools. I've worked with over 30 schools in the last 8 years, increasing graduation rates 30 to 50%, increasing teacher retention 40 to 50%. We've seen school spirit increase. We've seen all kinds of things just by focusing on the workplace culture of our schools. And so with that, Educator Dynamics was born, and we have so many different programs that we're offering. And so I'll share a little bit more about a couple of those if any of you are interested in checking them out. But wanted to give you a little background on who I am and how I got here today. And really with this pandemic, it's forced us all into this environment where everyone is kind of feeling this, right? We're all feeling this like, oh my gosh, like I have lost my mind because you guys are in constant stress and chaos and overwhelm. This pressure to do it all, this Pinterest pressure, right? Maybe that's what we should coin the phrase of everyone else is doing it so beautifully, and it's this never enough feeling. And really what it's ultimately leaning to is disease and burnout and the sense of isolation and really that broken spirit. And what I know about educators is nothing can break your spirit. Nothing can take away from why you do what you do on a daily basis. There were so many amazing stories right when the pandemic hit of teacher, and y'all saw the memes, right? Of teachers going, hold my coffee. Like you want me to do, like, I got it. Don't worry. Do I know how? No, but hold my coffee. I got this. And I have seen and heard story after story of educators' resilience, perseverance, overcoming obstacles, pulling it together for the kids, doing what you know is right. And at the same time, I see all of you in the background, And that's a lot of the work that I do is behind the scenes going, okay, we got this, right? How do we actually have fun? How do we actually get engagement from our families and our parents? How do we create this authentic human connection? How do we actually create the success ripple effect throughout what we're doing on a daily basis so that you're not in this consistent chaotic mindset that actually leads to burnout and you guys throwing up your hands and going, I can't anymore. I physically can't. Like no one wants that to happen to educators anywhere on the planet. And so I wanted to go through today a couple of strategies to really help you guys navigate this. Before I get into that, what I would love is to kind of spotlight a couple of amazing educators that I have joining us on our panel today. So Cindy, I want to call on you first and actually have you share an example. And Cindy is a principal that I've been working with at her amazing middle school for the past 5 years. And we have seen tremendous growth in your culture for a variety of reasons. And this is a whole new year. Like we're diving into this year in a virtual way, and really shifting the mindset to this edupreneurial mindset within your staff. And as you guys are using that to your advantage, even in the beginning, even since spring was like, oh, I guess we figured it out, right? What's an example of how that really has served you and your staff, having that mindset throughout this time? Yep, we lost your video. And
there you go. Am I back?
Yep.
My video gone? Am I back? Okay, sorry. I hit the space bar and everything went crazy. This is how it works on a regular basis. So first I want to apologize for my parents. I've been packing my house all day. So, but thank you for having me, Sandy. Our school, when things happened in March and we realized we weren't gonna be able to meet in person for some time, we didn't know how long that was gonna be. We just kind of band together as a group and said our culture is the people, not the building, and we're gonna live who we are. And if we're living it online, we're living it online. And so we really embraced our social media and our website as a huge component of what we were doing. Kind of didn't embrace it previous to that until we had to, but now that we have, it's become such an amazing outlet for us to communicate with our kids and our families and to keep them informed of things that are going on. We even did virtual dress-up days. We did a virtual fire drill. We told everybody to go outside and take a picture. Like we made it fun and silly, but we also made sure that people knew that they could find information from us that way using a lot of the online resources we had.
That's awesome. And it really was. And I watched you guys, behind the scenes, but I also watched it play out on social media as well. And that inspiration for those around you and really banding together. There's so much as educators that, and this is true for most schools that I've worked with, is it's like, we're great during a fire drill. And yet then we get into quote unquote normal, which I don't even know what that is anymore. Does anyone know what that is anymore? I don't think we know, but that's okay. It's life, right? And being in this space of, okay, how do we create a rhythm of that? How do we actually get into that mindset that we're all rowing in this same direction? And so a lot of that is really tapping back into, and in the Educator to Edupreneur masterclass that I created, it's finding that identity of every individual, because we talk about what is culture. Well, culture by my definition it's the collective capacity of who everyone shows up as. And so when you think about that collective capacity, and if everyone has had an identity shift or an identity crisis or whatever you want to call it, right, because of this pandemic, and we get to this place where it's like, wait, who am I? What do I need to do? If we figure that out and we actually grow through this process to owning our edupreneurial mindset, right? And when we think about the term edupreneur, think about an entrepreneur and an educator are married in your mind, right? And it's that out of the box thinker. It's really being solution focused, and there's so many other traits that come along with that. And it's about teaching you how to own that edupreneurial mindset and really kind of gain momentum as a collective group together. So one of the things that I wanted to share with you today are these pillars of the science of happiness. And I'm actually going to hit present so you can see this a little bit bigger. This is really when we look at, there's so many different thought leaders that talk about the science of happiness. And what I did is I took all of their thoughts and I put them into 5 to streamline it and make it really simple. Because when we think about let me phrase it a different way. When you think about what's missing on a daily basis, what are those gaps of where are you triggered? Where are the wheels falling off the bus, right? Whether it's within your team, if you're a team lead or a building administrator, or if you're a classroom teacher and you're going, okay, where are my own personal wheels falling off the bus? Like how can I get back into my own rhythm? You have to look at these 5 pillars first and really look, okay, where's the gap? And also look at what's working. Look at and dive into and go, okay, is connectedness working? Because like we just talked about, we're in a quote unquote fire drill mode. And so we have those positive, trusting relationships. We have a lot of that sense of belonging. And then we have some of that isolation happening too, going, oh, I can do it when I'm in it and I'm in my PLC and I'm collaborating and things are okay. But then all of a sudden I'm isolated and I'm on my own and I'm at home and I don't know what to do. And I'm the only one that doesn't understand this tech. And I'm the only one, and we go through this proverbial bat language in our minds. But if we take these pillars and we look at it through our position of strength, and we look at it through an edupreneurial mindset and go, okay, what am I in control of? If I think about engagement and I think about what do I have control and autonomy over? Do I know how and when I'll be able to accomplish something? Maybe it's a small thing. Maybe you know that you can wake up every morning and make the first 15 minutes of your day sacred and the last 15 minutes of your day sacred for you and you alone. You have control and autonomy over that. And you can know that you can accomplish that, right? And you can find that deep, effortless involvement and that state of flow during those 15 minutes bookending your day. That's one of the other things when we go into the micro classes within the Educator to Edupreneur Masterclass is we go into that your natural brain-wired strength and how are you paying yourself first? And how are you actually putting yourself in a position of strength so that you can drive forward every day to actually make the impact you were born to make? So really important that you look at these pillars and you'll have these slides by signing up for this webinar. So don't worry about, you can take a screenshot if you'd like, but you'll also have access to these slides. So when you think about this and you think about the ways that these pillars really show up in how we all need that purpose and meaning in life, and educators thrive, like you've got this one, right? You were born to teach children and keep them safe. You were born to actually create that authentic human connection. It's what you do. You can't not do it, right? I can't not work with educators. You guys can't not work with students. Like it's in your blood. It's just who you are. And so that purpose and meaning is almost kind of an easy one to fall back on and really find your sense of gratitude with. Then going into positivity. How are you focused on the pillars of positivity throughout the day as well? And how are you connecting with and what are you feeding your brain with? And then connectedness, we talked about that, making sure that you are connecting with other humans. Create your small tribe that you can see in person. Make sure that you are connected and creating those human connections. And engagement, figure out what is within your control. And sense of progress, really important. What are you focused on for your own personal growth? Because you matter first. So Allison, I want to have you share an example because you and I have been working together for about 3 years now. And Allison is an amazing instructional leader in Florida at an elementary school. And Allison, when we talk about personal growth and development and the way that you practice what you preach as you are coaching your staff, and your title of instructional coach does not give you justice to what you do at that school. So you are more of an administrator. So just when you think about that and you think about how you've seen personal growth and really focusing on that, making a difference in your professional world.
Yeah, over the past couple of years working with you, I've definitely learned that I need to acknowledge my own sense of progress, not just what's happening around me in the school. But I try to really actually share it with my staff so that they get comfortable hearing that it's okay to celebrate yourself and it's okay to celebrate what you're doing. Because as teachers, I remember years ago, I became teacher of the year, and it was like this uncomfortable, like, oh, I don't want anyone looking at me. Like, I just do this. This is what I do. I don't need accolades, you know? And I often see that now in my teachers when they're selected as a teacher of the year, the same thing. And I have to coach them through, you earned this. Like, this is a great thing. And so oftentimes we show up, we do what we do because we love it, and we kind of what Sandy was just saying, you know, this is all we know. This is who we are. This is why we're here. But it can be a struggle to celebrate yourself. And so I really just try to model my own celebrations. I do sometimes need reminders, but that's part of the whole growing through that. And so, you know, it's great because now that we have a very common language in our culture at our school, and we are getting more used to leveraging each other's strengths. I actually have teachers calling me out and saying, like, wait a second, that's your strength, like celebrating me. And so through our modeling and through our growing through it together as a staff, we've all now really set a goal to stay accountable with each other, even in celebrating those moments of progress or that personal growth, so that we can then also model that for our students.
Yeah, that's huge. I love it. And the key that I heard you say is modeling it for your students. Mm-hmm. I think we put so much emphasis on the social emotional learning for our students that sometimes we neglect the social emotional needs of ourselves as adults. And if we are not learning and practicing what we're preaching for our students to do, it's really hard for them to actually do it, right? They do more of what they watch you do. Then go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. Totally.
It's that monkey see, monkey do kind of thing. And your staff follows you as well. If you are a building leader, if you are just a leader on campus, everyone around you is watching what you're doing, especially during this time. And when you share with vulnerability and authenticity of things are not okay right now, things suck, right? It's like, that goes into self-acceptance, right? And that you're trusting yourself to go, you know what? Right now is a cluster truck. I said truck, right? And we're doing it, right? And we're doing it, and we're figuring it out. That's how you flip it and be vulnerable and say, you know what? It is. It's okay. And sometimes I need a fetal position cry. And then I get up and go, you know what? I'm good. I got this. I needed to get that out. I have a lot of different strategies. A few of you on this call know the PEW, you know, purging emotional waste, or like journaling out, like get it out. We all matter, right? As educators, you matter first, because our goal is to not have you look like that, right? The goal is for you to actually look like this and go, you know what? I got this. You can stand up and do your power pose, right? And go, I have unique, amazing value that I bring to the table. I am someone who owns my power. Maybe not 24/7. No one does. No one does. And if they tell you they do, they're lying, right? No one is on 100% of the time, 100% of the time. No one. No one in the world, no matter what their Pinterest looks like. So the more real you are, the more you share what's going on in your world, that is owning your power. That is saying, hey, you know what? I matter. I have unique value that I bring to the table. And I know what is within my control. Because when you make a change that is within your control, now you can actually move the needle forward. So Ward, I want to have you share, and I'm going to totally put you on the spot with this, and I apologize in advance. So share as much as you would like. But from a vulnerability place, Ward and I have worked together for the last couple of years as well. And what I really admire about you is your ability to look at what is within your control and go, you know what? This environment isn't working for me. And I've twisted myself every way from Sunday. And it's still not working. It's just not in alignment. I'm not in values alignment. And taking your power back and going, okay, this is what I am in control of, and I can create a new environment. So Ward, will you share a little bit about that?
I will, but first I wanted to state for the record that I do not want to look like that slide because one, I don't like wearing tights, and you look really awful in a dress. Thank you.
We're good. It could be Halloween, maybe.
That'd be a big no. Yeah,
I love it.
You're in charge of you. You're in charge of your thoughts, erroneously, your erroneous thoughts. I want to go back and Albert Ellis is one of the people that I really like. He's was a psychologist, and he came up with a theory of rational emotional behavioral therapy. Basically, what this therapy states is that my behaviors, your behaviors are going to manifest based on what we're thinking. And a lot of us have a lot of erroneous thoughts, irrational thoughts. And where do we learn it? We learned it because we were all children. And children have this mindset, this fantastic mindset where their reality and what is real can be like polar opposites. So we bring that as adults. And so we get often, and I'm no different than anybody else, we get caught up in these irrational thoughts and self-defeating thoughts. So it basically, you've got to come up and you've got to dismiss those irrational thoughts and going, really, sit down, is this really the truth? No. And so that's what I do a lot. But getting back to your question, yeah, I felt like a square peg in a round hole over at my last school. I mean, the people are wonderful. I love them. I still have communication with them. I even email the administration giving them stuff like, hey, this might be good for your students here. I'm just passing on information and whatnot. But it really comes down to our own happiness and our own choices. And sometimes if you're in an environment that isn't working for you, it's okay to walk away. And that's what I did. I walked away, and I'm in a new school. I went back to an old school where I just had a really great relationship with the administration and the teachers, and I'm back in that environment, and the stress has melted away, and that is good, except for this whole online Canvas thing, but don't get me started there.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's okay to look at yourself and say, you know what, this isn't working for me. This doesn't feel good. And then do some further introspection and say, well, why? Why isn't it working for me? And then work through that. And then if you need to, and you need to get yourself out of that environment and get into another tribe, then do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Ward, thank you so much. When you think about what is within your control and you think about designing a roadmap for your life, and it's one of the really key reasons why I developed the Educator to Edupreneur Masterclass, was not necessarily for you to quit your job and go become an entrepreneur. That wasn't the purpose behind it. The purpose was for you to really take your power back and own what is within your control, whether that means amplifying the unique brilliance that you bring within your classroom or within your school, or whether that's making a change to what school you're with, or maybe that's adding on an idea that you've had that could impact the education revolution that's happening globally right now, and how you could connect there. So the masterclass isn't just about leaving the current place. It's really about owning the unique value that you bring to the table. And, we go through different strategies and tools in really talking about the science of happiness with those pillars, talking about the levels of consciousness. And so one of the other things I wanted to show you guys, and this is part of the masterclass, and we kind of dive into this a little bit deeper in how you grow your levels of consciousness as an individual, as well as a school community. When we've all been in fear-based cultures at one point in time, and maybe some of you are currently living in a fear-based culture, whether that's at the district level or could be unfortunately at your school level. If you have a leader that is living in crisis management versus crisis leadership, and they're playing whack-a-mole with everything that's coming at them, they're not leading from their position of strength, and therefore end up really feeling like the world is against them, and it's really heavy and really you end up in reactionary mode. And a lot of that is due to the structures and the way that school was built, right? And at the same time, when we look at how we're leading out of a crisis and how we're actually building and developing relationships, how we're actually growing our own self-reliance, if we go into the yellow level right here, and how are we actually looking at the silos and going, okay, how do we bring them together? How do we actually do things intentionally, like Cindy was referencing? How do we create fun in this virtual environment? Because we can, right? For no other reason other than we can. Like, we don't need anyone to give us permission to have fun. You work with children, go have fun, right? Have fun as adults. It's exactly what you should be doing. And so when you think about that authentic human connection and you get into the green level and you start growing the consciousness, not only of yourself, but inspiring that and having that influence other people in your building, this is where you are really flexing your edupreneurial muscles. And you do it because you've built it intentionally and you've actually reached out and asked for help. And building and growing this conscious educator community that I've been working on for the last almost 10 years is really all about that, is about knowing that you're not alone, that this is about finding a values-aligned community where we can inspire and influence each other to live in this rhythm in a way where we know where we can be authentic. We know where we can actually live from that place of passion and purpose and lead with our intuition. We all have intuition, right? How much are we flexing our intuition muscles? How much are we actually growing and flowing together? And so, Cindy and Allison, I want to ask you guys, and we've been working together, not only individually with both of you, but also at the school community level. But I want to kind of talk individually first for today. Is at an individual level, what has this infographic meant to you in order to actually kind of see how you grow and flow through the rungs of the tree? Are there rungs on a tree? There's rungs on a ladder, but you know what I mean. So whoever wants to share. You're both on mute. There you go.
Okay, fine. I lost a chicken. I was waiting for Allison to go first, but I lost a chicken. So I think that for me, what's great about this chart is it helps me acknowledge my own personal growth as I'm going through and changing things at school. And I think that right now the world is asking us all to live in that green place where we can take this as an opportunity to change how we are doing everything that we've been doing over the years. Just like it takes a forest fire for things to regrow and come back the way they're supposed to. Sometimes it takes a devastation. I don't really think this is total devastation by any means, but it certainly takes devastation for things to be able to grow and regrow. And certainly we can stay in our comfort level for so long. And this shows us like where we could be heading next. And I think that knowing that if I'm an innovative, then I have a compliant culture, then I want to move to comprehensive because I want to give my teachers the chance to be innovative. So if I know I'm the rung above my group that I'm leading, then it pushes me to move myself up to the next rung faster, and really acknowledge that, because I want to get other people to that level where they take some ownership.
Love it.
Yeah, I like what Cindy said about being able to celebrate yourself through looking at this in the rungs, whatever we want to call them. But I also think through my work with all of this, the levels of consciousness, it's just a way to feel okay with where I'm at. Because, you know, sure, you always want to keep growing up, but we know that there are moments where we jump down a rung or a level or whatever you want to call it. And just being okay with, okay, this is where I'm back to. Now, what are those steps that I need to take for myself to get me back to that green or that blue or that purple or wherever? And so just being okay with, this is where I currently am. And, you know, just staying really self-aware using these levels of consciousness, because the moment we lose that self-awareness, you know, it just feels like chaos. So being able to not only know that for myself, but also share with my colleagues, you know, hey, this is where I'm currently at. You know, I'm taking a few steps, but bear with me, you know? So there is this, I don't even know what to call it. There's just this perfectionism, perception that teachers feel like they have to look like they have it all together at all times, and they have to know it all, and they have to be it all. And I think that drops a lot of people down to that red fear-based culture, because they're afraid that when they don't know those things and they're not, you know, perfect and showing up perfect in the perfect classroom, the perfect lesson, and saying all the right things, it really becomes that toxic area of, or I guess toxic culture, I would say. So we're just reminding teachers that, and ourselves, that, you know, we flow through all of these levels in different days, different months, different years. So just being okay with, this is who I'm showing up as right now, and being able to lean on other people and have that be one of your tools to really say, okay, I am not okay, and here's what I need from other people. So making it okay to be where you're at, and then also ask for help and take those steps to step up your level of consciousness.
And I think last March, when schools closed down, we all kind of fell down to that fear-based automatically, like, oh my goodness, how are we going to survive this? What are we going to do? And then, but because we had done so much work on that as a school and as a community, as a culture, we were able to move through these steps fairly quickly to get ourselves back to where we knew we needed to be. And I think that was the strength of having that strong culture background. Yeah. And the self-reflection, Allison, like you were talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. And seeing you guys grow as edupreneurs, right? And really owning that mindset and the work that we're going to be doing this year, and really the introduction into my work is really the Educator to Edupreneur Masterclass, and it's self-paced. It's kind of going on your own. It's 12 micro classes where we kind of dive into the steps to growing your individual identity and your passion and your purpose, and how do you actually create your life with intention? Because when we look at the root cause of the stress and the overwhelm and the burnout and not making the impact that you were born to make, and you know, feeling like the world is against you, is that we need to look at the root cause of, okay, what is your identity? What is that true identity as an educator, and who are you growing to be, and how do you actually see yourself in the future, and how do we help you design that roadmap in order to get there with intention every day, versus being on your heels and feeling like, okay, I have to survive this, right? I'll be okay on the weekend, or I'll be okay during the summer, or I'll be okay, like just finding a way to reach a hand out and actually ask for help, and to know that you're not alone. And just because you may drop back down to the fear-based level does not mean you're a bad person. You're an amazing human being, you know, back to this, you have unique value that you bring to the table. You have power and control over your situation. You have the ability to leverage tools like the science of happiness, like the levels of consciousness, like we have a free handout that we're actually going to share with all of you that are staying till the end, that is school leader tips to add more balance to your day. And it's about the simple little things that allow you to join this conscious educator community and actually make a difference, not only for yourself, but that ripple effect, not only for your students, but for your colleagues and for your families. I had an educator come up to me after a workshop and she said, Sandy, this might be weird. And she wasn't the first one to say this, but she was the one who said, this might be weird. But you've kind of helped my marriage. And I just remember how amazing it was when she pulled me aside and shared that. And I was like, that's not weird. This is human behavior. Like, you are a whole human. You're not just a teacher over here and then a human over here. Like it's all one. You don't put, you know, your teacher suit on. Well, you kind of do, but do you know what I mean? Like, you're still a whole human. Like you still get to show up as the unique, amazing human that you are and really leverage the power of this community. And so I want you guys to know that you have this opportunity to join our community. If you're not a part of it already, join us on Facebook. We have a Conscious Educator closed group that is all about lifting each other up and being there for each other and really providing tools and strategies so that we are focused on parent and family engagement. We are creating fun in a virtual environment. We're sharing real life success stories. We're actually able to share, and there's several places out there on the internet that you can find vibrant and engaging lessons, but they're usually connected to that Pinterest, you know, pretty face versus we get real and we talk about what's really happening and we honor who you really are. Like the most authentic version of who you are is who we want you to show up as. And when you show up, some days it's great and some days it's not, you know, we're here for you. And along this journey as an educator to really make the impact that you were born to make in this virtual space and know that you can make a global impact. Our kiddos today are globally connected. They just are. And we as educators are globally connected. Whether you recognize that you are or not, you are. We're one person away from actually connecting and being able to impact the world. We're growing in a direction where entrepreneurism is the fastest growing industry in the world. So if we as educators are not focused on our own entrepreneurial mindset, we're not going to be equipping our students for where we're growing to. When we are teaching kids how to get a job versus creating a job, we're living in the past. When we're teaching them how to create a job, now we're teaching them about the future. As part of Genius School Global, I just got finished facilitating a month-long Young Entrepreneur Academy. And we had 150 kiddos from around the world. And it was such an honor to connect with those kids and to really feel their brilliance. And really seeing that entrepreneurial spark in all of them and seeing their growth was what you all live for, right? All of you live for that spark, that student that comes back, that light bulb moment, all of those things. That's what fuels your fire. And being connected to this global community and really connecting as an edupreneur and really making the difference that you were born to make is how you get unstuck from the chaos and the overwhelm. So, you know, we have this opportunity for you guys to join us within this masterclass. And this masterclass has 12 different modules to it. You know, we start with the overview and then you go into your identity. What is your identity? How do you articulate that? How do you actually uncover it for yourself? Then going into paying yourself first. Vital, no matter who you are on this planet, vital that you pay yourself first. Then we go into your natural brain wired strength and that piece of how is my brain naturally wired? And there's an assessment that you can take to actually help you grow and communicate with others and recognize that our brains aren't all wired the same way. And then you can translate that. And we have ways that we can talk about how you translate that for your students and how you actually ignite their inner genius and get into the space of helping them identify that. So now you've got those vibrant, engaging lessons because you've just turned on their inner genius. And you're able to do that with your colleagues as well. And then we go into, I'm looking at the list here because I don't have them, I'm talking too much and getting them all straight. So growing self and team trust. When we talk about trust, it is not just about trust between you and another, it's about trust internally for yourself as well. So important that you make sure that you are focused on honoring your own word, establishing your own boundaries of what's okay and what's not okay. You working 12+ hour days, not okay. Not okay. And we all say, yes, and it needs to happen. Yeah, but. Yes, and you matter first. You as a human matter first, and your boundaries matter. And so when you take back your power and you say, nope, these are my hours, and they may not be your quote unquote contract hours. They may be that I'll work from 7 a.m. Till 5 p.m. You know, I'll be checking and there'll be things and whatever. And sometimes I'll take a little longer for lunch and whatever. Like that more entrepreneurial spirit where you are in control of your time. Being in a more virtual environment or a hybrid environment, whatever environment you're in, and some of you are back full-time in person as well, still honoring your time boundaries. You don't have to be answering emails at 9 o'clock at night. Cindy said the best thing the other day. And I said, unless the building's on fire. She goes, yeah, but I'm not a firefighter. She goes, what am I going to do? Like, and she's so right. I mean, it's true. She's not the fire department. She's going to stand there and go, I got a lot of paperwork to do, but that paperwork can happen tomorrow. I mean, not that you shouldn't be there, not that you shouldn't care. I'm not saying that. But understanding your boundaries matter. And that is part of self-trust. And it's part of establishing those boundaries for your team trust as well. And then we talk about simple, sustainable, healthy routines because your health and your well-being matter. Your health and your well-being are so vital to who you show up as. Remember, culture is the collective capacity of who you all show up as. When you are showing up healthy, because you're actually taking the time in a simple, sustainable way to make your health a priority. I have my best friend, a lot of you know her, Melissa Blinn, who's a nutritionist, who she actually comes on and shares those nuggets of wisdom for the simple, sustainable, healthy routines. And then we talk about creating the life you desire. Like, what does that look like? We talk about your original dream. We talk about, we create a quarterly roadmap for what that looks like. It's all about designing your life on purpose and creating it versus being a victim to the circumstance of the pandemic. Like, yes, those are facts. Like we understand those. And you have a lot of control within those things. So, and then we go into what is it to become an edupreneur? And we dive a lot deeper into the levels of consciousness for you and have you take some time with it and where you're at and where you want to grow to. And then we talk about finance and opportunity, because even if you aren't running your own business, money is an important piece of our society. And how you navigate your money helps you get out of that fear or blame-based level of consciousness if you actually own your power and your strength and you measure your money in a way that serves you. And I have another brilliant coach that comes on, Lisa Chastain, that she'll be with us actually to share a couple of nuggets of wisdom in a couple of weeks, but she's part of that masterclass on finance and opportunity. And then we go into choosing your path and sharing all of the different ways that you can flex your entrepreneurial muscles and have you design which path do you want to take and what's that going to look like. And then designing your 90-day business plan. And I call it a 90-day business plan. And also in the micro class, we talk about how you can use that even in your classroom. When you think about your classroom as a business and you own that edupreneurial mindset, how do you make a 90-day plan that you're going to stick with and pivot as needed? You're going to have those, ooh, there might be an iceberg here, so I might need to pivot there. And you have some of those things. So we actually teach you how to navigate through a 90-day business plan. And then it's about creating your personal roadmap. and really taking a step forward. And do you want to continue down the path with your current school and everything you're doing, or are you going to really be able to go forward with taking a leap of faith for that idea that you've always had that you wanted to turn into a business? And maybe you're going to do that on top of teaching. Maybe, Cindy, one of these days you're actually going to start a cooking school and a baking school, right? And so, and Allison, one day you are going to start your own school, right? And it's going like those entrepreneurial mindsets. And Ward, someday you're going to actually be teaching music lessons, right? Instead of just playing. Like you're going to incorporate that into your world. You're going to, nope, you're just going to become a musician full-time.
Full-time composer.
Full-time composer. I love it. So all of those things, all of those dreams that you have, doesn't mean you stop being an educator. There are ways to weave it all in and get to a place where you actually own your brilliance and own who you are in this world and how you actually show up. And that's what this community is all about. So I'm super grateful to all of you for being here. Below where you are watching this webinar, you have the link and all the information with all the details that I've gone through, and even more so for the Educator to Edupreneur Masterclass. We have a special back to school offer. Make sure that you use the back to school code so that you get $300 off as you're joining us, and really taking advantage of this opportunity to grow at your own pace. It is a 12-module program. It's about 15 hours worth of professional development for you as an individual. And we are here with you along the way. We have Q&As through the Edupreneur closed Facebook group community, where I answer your questions in as real time as I can, unless it's middle of the night for me. And just here to support you along this journey so that you are not living in this chaos and overwhelm, that you are actually living from your position of strength and owning the value that you bring to the table. So I want to kind of open it up to any questions. And Paulina, thank you so much for dropping the link into the chat. I so appreciate that. But I want to open it up to questions of the questions or takeaways from today. So if you want to type them in the chat or raise your hand, and I can bring you on as well. So go ahead, Ward.
No questions, takeaway. One of the things that you're talking about connection, again, it's about relationship. It's about building relationships with your staff members. It's about building relationships with your students. That's what it's all about, connection and relationships.
Yeah.
I
love it. Ward, thank you so much. It totally is. Other takeaways, if you guys that are watching want to go ahead and type in the chat, what are your takeaways? What have you learned during our time together? Allison, do you want to share? What's your nugget of wisdom from today?
I just think, it's nice to the community that we have here, be able to hear that, I'm all the way down here in Florida, and we are all doing this work across the US and into, I know, other countries as well. But I think that sometimes we get in this nobody else gets it kind of thing. And a lot of times if someone is not an educator, they don't understand no matter how much you say, but this. So it's really nice to just know that this is kind of the work is being done, just even hearing Ward's story about how he chose to leave somewhere and go somewhere better, not better, but somewhere different for him. And now he's feeling better. I've had teachers say it's not about the school. I just don't know if this is the right place for me. And I've had to talk to them and say, I don't want to lose you, but if this is the right thing for you and the right move that you need to make at this point in your life, let's talk about, how you're going to transition out or whatever it is. So I think that's my biggest takeaway is it's nice to have a community that is outside of your own school community, just to see that you're not alone.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. Thank you. Cindy, what about you?
First of all, Allison, that's the next stage of my life. My story is going to be in Florida, so I'll see you there soon. 3 years is my countdown time. And I will open the baking school there. But I just wanted to, my takeaway is I think, and we've heard it in so many different ways throughout this conversation, but that you have to concentrate on self-growth. If you don't grow yourself, you can't grow the people around you, whether they're your students or your staff. If you're an administrator and you're trying to grow your faculty, if you don't concentrate on your own self-growth and take advantage of some professional development like this for yourself, you won't ever be able to get your staff to grow either. And it's the same thing as a teacher. When I was a classroom instructor, if I wasn't continually growing and learning, I wasn't modeling that for my kids. And so then they would become stagnant too, or it would become a lie. And so I think you have to live that truth and really open up to learning about yourself and seeing that possibility.
I love it. Love it, love it. And I'm seeing a few of the takeaways in the chat as well. Taking care of you first. So important, Antonia. And really teaching students how to build a business is where we're teaching them about the future. And so when we think about growing their entrepreneurship mindset, you know, we need to be flexing those muscles ourselves as educators. And so I want to, and Tammy, I love your takeaway as well. Mental and emotional health is how we build relationships with ourselves and others. Self-care is our first order. Create space in a place that creates a beautiful synergy and trust, that fun frequency and flow. I love it, Tammy, beautiful. And so thank you so much, everyone, for being with us and for staying to the end. And we do have a free PDF download that Paulina will be getting to all of you, the top 3 strategies to add balance to your day. Really all about you guys taking care of yourselves and knowing that this is a time for you to focus on who you are and where you're growing and the unique, amazing brilliance that you bring to the table. And know that we're here for you. We are your community. So definitely join us. Email us if you have any questions. hello@Educator Dynamics. Join our Facebook group at the Conscious Educator Circle, and definitely follow us on Facebook at Educator Dynamics. And let me know if you have any questions anytime. And don't forget to download the slides. Paulina, thank you so much for that link. So in the chat, you all can click on the link and make sure that you have access to these slides. And the recording will be up for all of you as well. So for those of you that weren't able to make it live, thank you for watching the recording. And I wish you all a beautiful rest of your holiday weekend, and enjoy the evening. Take care of you. You're worth it before you are back with your kiddos tomorrow. Make some sacred space for yourself before you go to sleep tonight and before you wake, or right when you wake up in the morning. So I wish you all a beautiful rest of your day. Talk soon. Bye, everyone. Thanks so much.
You're still going live on YouTube, Sandy.